Hi, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us for today's teleconference. What we're going to be talking about is the three of us are going to share why we're with Nikken, what we're doing, and the purpose of today's training call is to talk about the business and really what we need to build a business. The bottom line is it's all about duplication. And you hear that so much over and over and over, duplication. Well, duplication is much more than just recruiting someone else into the business. Duplication is about volume, having those customers. When you come in and you have customers and then you bring someone in, you're able to show them how to have customers. And really the bottom line is $500 per person as a minimum of a business. In my old staffing agency, if I only did $500 in sales in a month, I couldn't even pay anyone. And so, breaking it down, these are really small type business centers. And if we can teach the skills of how to sell the product and how to do the ABCs, because when I got in, the whole marketing plan on the flip chart, remember, was ABC. That was the whole marketing plan. The compensation plan was difficult, but the marketing plan was simple. Very, very easy, duplicatable. And what we're going to do is show you how we've developed a process where the ABC is already inherent. The process is already moves forward at each step. And you're marketing more than just a product. Because how many people out there have a product? Everybody has a product. But how many people know wellness consultants that are actually endorsed, wellness consultants that have actually changed lives around the world, and people that are in the wellness industry? I've become the top 1% endorsed on LinkedIn for the last 3 years running for wellness. And what that's allowed me to do is have my people and other people market my expertise and the ability to meet with me and have a lifestyle evaluation that allows them to be on their own terms. And that's why I started this process. My background is hospice rehab nursing. I did that for 15 years. I really didn't think I'd be doing anything else but quality of life management. I was working on my tenure at the University of Arizona. I was also working on my PhD in nursing. So I really wanted to be a part of the solutions for people's quality of life. That's always been my passion. In '98, I broke my shoulder and was given the privilege to learn about Nikken, to learn about things that I knew I didn't know. And it's been a journey to actually do and share with people all of the things that I've come across. And it's about empowering people. So I have Faye and Dee on with me today, and they're actually going to share with us their background, and then we'll go with about the process and why we recommend it. So Faye?
Great. Hi, everyone. My name's Faye Lin Huang. I live in beautiful Florida on the West Coast. My background is in the restaurant industry, and we all know that's not a stressful industry, right? Well, unfortunately, in May of 2000, I suffered a brain aneurysm. Completely changed my life, and I knew that I had a different purpose because I survived it very well. So in October, I moved to Florida. I moved in with a friend and helped her raise her 2 children. And it was a blessing, truly was. And in January of 2007, Nikken came into my life. I immediately purchased a wellness home, is what we call it, because my girls were on the spectrum. And I wanted to see what kind of effect the Nikken technologies would have. And it was amazing, and that really sort of set my my desire right there, my passion, that I knew what I had found, what I was meant to do, and that is to bring Nikken to the world, help as many people as I could. So currently, I've been building with Nikken since 2007, and I'm at a gold level.
Great, thank you. Dee?
Hi, my name is Dee Apt. I'm also from Florida. We're from the Gulf Coast.
Y'all got to quit teasing me about this Florida. Okay, go ahead. No.
It's beautiful here. Actually, my background has been in advertising and marketing. I was an executive in the area of Toledo, Ohio for 20 years. And the reason I retired early from that career was because I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I actually had 2 occurrences of breast cancer and realized very suddenly that I needed to change my life. I was not getting better. I didn't know if I had a future, a health future. So I was lucky enough to run into Nikken products. They started helping me. I started realizing there were other options out there for my health. So through the 15 years I've been with Nikken, I was a silver distributor. I've learned things like kinesiology to test myself to find out what I needed to do. I was a certified herbalist, and I'm also a certified wellness consultant. And I guess the blessing out of all this, the stress and all of the problems with being very ill, now I can understand people when they tell me they don't feel good and they're not feeling like they're getting results, that they're looking for a solution, and I can talk to them and I can share with them and help them find a solution for that. And that's meant a lot to me.
Great, thank you. So Dee, would you mind sharing then why this simplified process that we've developed, and as we go through each of these calls, today is to talk about why the process is important to us and why it was developed and why I developed it. And also then we'll go through on further calls in the future about how to leverage the actual process and what the process is. So, but for today, we want to cover why have a process for customers? Why have a customer program at all?
Well, in my experience, the first probably 10 years, I was recruiting people. I was really not much into the customer part of it. I felt that my job was to try to help an occupational need, and not always finding people were very interested in that, and they didn't last long with me. I wanted long-lasting customers, and I decided I needed to look for some other options. I wanted to market myself. I didn't want to market products. I think that you do that with this process. You start out asking them what they need and helping them with finding out information or solutions to that fit into exactly what I was looking for. So you always know you're on track, because there is a track. You always know what your next step is, which is something I always floundered with. And inevitably I was helping people, whether it was a business, it was a product, or if it was just helping them have somebody to talk to about what they needed with their health or as a friend. So to me, it made prospecting much, much easier for me.
Great. Faye, would you mind sharing?
I'd love to. Very similarly to Dee, my experience was I found that I was building a team of customers. I was very wide in DDs and directs, distributors, who all they wanted was product at a discount. Now with this process, I can offer them the ability to have the products that they want, the technologies that will help them, give them that experience so that I can meet them where they are on their journey. And if I so choose to, if I find there's a need that they'd like to have the wholesale pricing, I can offer that. I can also, say that they haven't mentioned price, so retail's okay too. It's my choice.
Exactly.
Exactly. And one of the best things for me, because of all of our training and how we speak to people, is this ABC process. And the ABC here is guaranteed. I always have an A, and I always have the next appointment set. And for me, that was huge. Taking the time to arrange an A, maybe not being able to catch the A, and then the call never gets through. And also having the follow-up built in. Is, one of my challenges oftentimes was setting that next appointment. Here it's built in. I don't have to worry about it. It's guaranteed.
Right. We turn it right back over to the B, and they set the next appointment before they're off the phone. If you don't get that next appointment set, often it's because it's not going to ever happen.
Right, exactly. And then you've qualified them.
Right. And that's what leads me to why I developed this process to begin with. First of all, I want to make sure everybody knows I am in MLM. I am always, and I mean always, interviewing people to be in my business. Okay? But what I do know is that not everybody wants to be in my business. And actually very few people want to be in my business. So what I learned early on is I lost a lot of product sales to people because I tried to close them in a business after the fact that I talked them into the product, really wanted to sizzle of the product. They wanted that quality of life increase, but then boom, I told them about a franchise they needed to buy into before they could get anything. Well, that shut down so many people. And my first year, I realized that that's what I was doing. By year 2, I realized that I would never treat one of my clients in my staffing agency that way. I would never go do a care plan without sitting down and at least interviewing the person about what's feasible. And then, even though I might write a care plan that's glorious because I want to get paid by the insurance company, I knew in reality what that person was capable of accomplishing. And so I started thinking, how can I do some of those same techniques, and how can I meet people on their terms, their belief systems, and help them wherever they are in their journey? Because what I found is, in Nikken a lot, we try to tell people that whatever they're doing isn't as good as Nikken. Instead of saying, well, you're already got your air, or you already got your water covered, but what are you doing about sleep? What area is important to you? And that's what we're able to do with this process, is to show people, or not necessarily show them, but more importantly, find out and discover about them first. This process is about them. I've often asked in my, when I do trainings, who is the most important person in the ABC? And I always get the A. Everybody always says it's the A. They're the most important. And Faye's got it right. It's the C. Who are we talking to? Why are they here in front of us? And how can I be of service to them? See, I always wanted to be wealthy, but I wanted to do it at the service of others, never at the expense of others. And so to do that, I built this process out of sheer respect for the person we're talking to, the person that has given us their time, the one commodity they'll never get back. And if we're really selling freedom, time is the only thing we have to sell, and quality of life. So with that said, I'm going to ask Dee, what kind of results are you getting from the process?
Well, since I've relocated here to Florida in the last 3 years, I've quickly established some great credibility. A lot of people have come to me knowing that I'll give them a straight answer on stuff. And to me, that means a lot, because when you're working in a cold market, people don't warm up to you really well unless you give them a reason to. So having this track, when people are talking to me, I know exactly where they're at. I know exactly what I need to do. Also, having a mentor to leverage at an A level has changed the whole elimination process for me. 2 people are talking to a customer. Well, actually, I'm listening. I'm the B, so I'm listening.
I hope you're taking notes instead of sitting on your hands, as I used to suggest.
Yeah. And doing that has smoothed out the process, told me who the qualified people are, what it is that they're exactly looking for, what do I need to do. I'm really good with follow-up. I don't have a problem with that. I had a bit of trouble trying to figure out where they were. What was it that I needed to do to follow up? Just setting an appointment didn't mean anything. You need to tell them what you're going to do. So I'd say those were the most important points for me.
Great. Thanks. Appreciate that. Faye, would you mind sharing?
I am fairly new to the process, and I got to tell you, I'm so excited. I really am. One of the things that has worked for me as far as a result is really clarifying where the person is on their journey, and if they're open to and wanting to make changes and do the work necessary. So it saved me a lot of time. And of course, in respect to that person, a lot of their time, because it clearly, they knew whether or not they wanted to step into it. And if they stepped into it, they knew they were going to have to do a little bit of work, but they were going to have some good answers out of it. So that clarification and time saving is great. The other thing that was really amazing to me is on the level of follow-up, because I'm not that great at it. It's more of I think, too much activity and losing people along the way. So with this, I have actually been able to find a business builder who is actually also going to be my person to help me follow up, to take all those people I know, because I've networked for years, and be able to be my follow-up to them and bring them into the funnel. And that's an amazing thing. I also have gotten an old friend from Cleveland restaurant days who is now committed to joining us and wants to build a business, because he too wants to help a lot of people. And just all my directs and all the people who wanted product, I can go back to and say, listen, I really want, you've had an experience. I know we started on this business course, but let's take another look at it. And let's go through this process and see if perhaps you're reinterested in doing a business, but more importantly, getting me in front of their people, because they always did have people that they wanted to help. So sort of my pond and the number of fish I can fish with has increased exponentially.
Would you talk just a little bit about that? Because we've done a few business plans with your people and with brand new prospects, not even in the business, that have come in. Would you mind touching on just a little bit about the business plans and the difference between the way you used to maybe do a business plan with someone and what we've been able to do with that simplified business plan?
Sure. It's really all about just inviting people to think about the people they know who are in need. Perhaps in conversations they overheard that, man, my back's killing me. And that person being able to say, just in the normal course of conversation, is, I just met somebody who's an expert in that might be able to help you. Would you want me to get you in touch with them? And that's just normal conversation, things that we would normally do with somebody. So it's allowing them a very simple way to bring in an ABC conversation with somebody.
That, and would you mind touching on the one thing that is, I think, omni-important of this, because none of us want to have the negative person in the room at our meetings, right?
Right.
And none of us want to prospect the wrong business partner into our organization, right? Would you touch on how this process has helped you eliminate some of those people?
Well, what's fun about that is, people I may know, or a person that may be recommended to me, I get them on the phone, and then I'm allowing the A to really take the responsibility of speaking with this person. It takes it off of me. So I'm not the bad guy, quote unquote. I'm not the person that is creating any issues. It's between the A and the C. And we very dramatically have been able to leave those people out who really aren't interested in being helped, or aren't
interested at all.
Aren't interested,
And before, we would be in the convincing mode all the way through. We'd be trying to get them to follow us down the path.
Exactly.
And really what we do is we stand at the entrance to the park and see what path they take.
Exactly.
And if they're taking the diamond path, so to speak, we'll go down that diamond path with them. But if they fall down into the dirt right away in the hike, I'm not going to follow them.
Right.
And I like to say that. We are just examining and interviewing them. We're not even allowing them to interview us. And that's the beautiful thing. My results have been, I have been able to use this process to take away what I'm not good at. I'm going to be honest on this call about my first 3 years at the timeshare. I'm the on-staff wellness consultant for several businesses. One of them is a timeshare where I have literally thousands of people see an invitation to my New You presentation every week. On average, 1,200 people per week see this invitation. So I get a lot of passive no's. But what my problem was in the process, I get all these people come, they fill out a form and they give it to me, but guess what I wouldn't do? Effective follow-up. I'm not good at it. It took me nearly, I would say, close to 3 years to admit it to myself that if they didn't get it right away, I used to tell people they either get it right away or they don't. And then I met Dee. And Dee is so good at follow-up. I'm like, Dee, what if I take my leads, scan them into my computer, and send them over to you, and you run them through the process with me? And guess what, Dee? I'm going to let you have all those sales, all those people, because I would have lost them anyway. And so now I have my follow-up already in place, because I guarantee if I send Dee a name and a number and the best day and time to call on the form they fill out, guess what Dee does? She calls them at that day and that time and sets an appointment, runs them through the process with me. And now we have momentum in my business that I didn't have because I wasn't willing to admit what I wasn't good at. See, the first thing to be successful in any business is to be honest with yourself about your lack of skills. Then you go leverage those skill sets away. I can talk to anyone. And as you've seen, if you've used me as an A, I can automatically, if you do your notes right, I can automatically get right into their corner. I'm the one while they're in the game of life giving them the water, so to speak, at the boxing match. I'm in their corner. And they feel that immediately in this process. And that's why my results have been tremendous, because I don't have an agenda when I go into the process other than helping someone on their journey, on their terms. Some of my best customers are in Kagan because I don't challenge them on their belief system about water, but they don't have an air. And a few of them don't sleep well. And so I'm able to marry where they are on their journey and not tell them that they need Nikken and everything. In fact, so many things that we recommend in the process are outside of Nikken that when we recommend Nikken, they take it as the same genre of the other things we recommended, right? Like watching the 60 Minutes reports, we use all these other things so that when we throw Nikken into the mix, it's just part of the other solutions they've been looking at.
Yep.
And so that makes sense to them. Instead of just throwing everything Nikken at them, we let them be on their own journey where they are. We listen to them and just mirror them. And that's what we're going to do on the next call, is actually go through the process, do some screen captures, show you what we say to get someone on the ABC, what we do with them once we get them on the ABC, and then how we close with them. And a lot of people, that's their hardest part, is asking for that sale. And if you market to the belief systems, I'm going to share one thing. We had a lady the other day that Dee and I talked to, and she had a cabinet full of nutrition. And she told me she spends so much money on nutrition, she puts them up in the cabinet. She's just not ready to spend any more money on nutrition. And I was like, yeah, I completely understand. I'm not type of person who want to open the cabinet and take pills either. But you know what? I have two of my favorite products from our company, and I'll share how I use them. And all it is Siaga and Greenzymes. And all I did was talk about how I use them as food ingredients when I make food. I use the Siaga in drinks and iced tea and lemonade, all kinds of things. Even my margaritas have Siaga in them, okay? And Greenzymes I put in everything, including salad dressing. I just made salad dressing for dinner tonight, and it's a green goddess dressing that I made, and it's almost 50% Greenzymes, okay? And I'm going to put it on a salad to actually make sure the salad has nutrients. And so when I got to talking to this lady, Dee said that all made sense to her, didn't it, Dee?
Yeah.
And what'd she end up doing?
She ordered the Siaga and the green signs, J green signs. Yeah.
And she already has a cabinet of similar things.
Yeah.
But she didn't know how to use those pills in the cabinet. She couldn't get her grandchildren to take the pills, and she couldn't get her husband to take the pills. And that's what she told me. So why would I talk to her about pills? It was just a matter of listening to where she was, mirroring her response, quite honestly, and just meeting what she really wanted. She told me she wanted a solution that didn't involve pills in her cabinet. That's really what she said, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I was able to take what she really was saying and mirror it to her and get the result of a sale. And weren't you taken aback by the fact that she bought something after her first initial reaction to nutrition? Dee?
I'm sorry, you froze up a little bit.
Weren't you like, you didn't expect that result, did you?
No, because when we first met, she wanted to know how to be younger looking, and she wanted to know what she could do about her knee.
Yep.
So, you know, you put a person through a process, they start talking about all the things. It isn't just that couple of things.
Okay. Great. What we're going to do is wrap up now. Does anybody have anything they want to add, Faye?
I'm good. I just highly recommend everyone take a closer look at this and continue through our video series so that you have a great understanding of the gem we have here.
Great. Thanks. Our next call will be on the process itself and sharing how to get people through it. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Joseph.
Thanks.